Hi friends, welcome back to Accidentally Awesome. I'm Lorna, and if you've watched the channel before, you know that I was diagnosed this year with ADHD, and I found out I had ADHD because both of my children have ADHD. So usually I would share my diagnosis or diagnosis tips, things that have been going on with myself as an adult with ADHD. But today I wanted to share something slightly different, which is helping our neurospicy smalls. If you have ADHD, there's a good chance your kids have ADHD and vice versa. So if your kids have ADHD, there's a really good chance that you do as well. So yeah, I just wanted to share a few tips that have been working for us. We've been seeing a psychologist this year for one of our kids, and she had some fantastic tips, and I thought I would share them with you. Now I'm going to put a link down below in the description box where you can actually download this as a PDF, so that should be fairly helpful for you. So if you want to look at that now, you can hit the pause button, find it and download it, or you can just listen to me and go back to it. So if you're going to go and do it, you can hit the pause button now. So you've either got the goodies with you or you don't. Doesn't matter either way. You can access these whenever you want. So as I said, we've been seeing a psychologist this year just to help out with a few behavioural things and really give me some strategies that we can use to help the kids. And I thought these are too good just to keep to myself. And to be honest, I think they would work with kids across the board and also us as adults. So if you have ADHD, you might actually find some of these things quite useful for you too. So before we go any further, I'm just going to ask you to hit the subscribe button if you find this useful, hit the like button and leave your comments below. I would love to hear from you. So the first thing I want to discuss is in Australia, you can ask for an individual education plan. I think that's the right name. Your school will know what it is that you're talking about. And basically you can go in and ask for specific accommodations to be made for your child if they have certain difficulties. So if your child has some sort of disability, then the school has to make certain things available for you. So if your child was in a wheelchair or needed an aid to help them walk, they would need to make sure that there's ramps, lifts, things like that. The same with our neurodiverse children. They can help you make some accommodations that make life a little bit easier for your kids. So I did this year, and yeah, I thought I would share with them. Now I'm just going to look off the camera for a little bit because I've got them all written down here. So some of the things that we have requested and that you can request are things like asking for some extra breaks, like a brain break. Now this is not a 15, 20, 30 minute recess. This is a 5-minute break for your child to be able to collect themselves if they're having a rough day, reset and start again. You could ask for them to stand to do work if they're a fidgety kid. We certainly have done that. Wobble cushions, if you're allowed to bring them into school, can be great for kids, and those resistance bands that you can put across the legs of chairs if your kid wants to kick their legs, they're really good as well. With a lot of kids with ADHD, and I know my son as well who has autism, repeating instructions for work can make things a little bit easier for them. For older children, if they have to read something, having that written on their smartboard, whiteboard, chalkboard, whatever, means that child can look at that to see where they have to go back and read. Or just, making sure that they understand what's required of them. So perhaps just going over, asking if they're happy with the instructions, if there's anything else that they need to go through. Using different ways of working. So if they're used to Writing things by hand, perhaps using a computer or a tablet, can help mix things up a little bit, or even speech to text. Now, if you're Scottish and you've ever tried this, you'll know that that's an absolute disaster. They don't really like our accents, even though most people do. But anyway, quiet workspaces. So that could be either having a breakout room that's available to them, or ear defenders can be great for the kids just to calm things down. We have a calming menu that we use with our daughter, and I'll come to that soon. And things like giving them extra notice of transitions coming up, or if there's something different happening within their usual routine, just giving them a heads up for the changes that are going to be happening that day. Now, you yourself will know about what works for your kid, what accommodations they might need, what helps them. So take that a step further and do it for your own child. Another thing we were having difficulties with was the after school meltdown. But I know for many of us, it's not just after school, it's before school as well. You know, that I don't want to leave you, the separation anxiety, the stress of getting out of the door can be really hard for our kids. So again, I've put together a list of a few things, and I would love to hear from you. So these are the things that I would love you to pop in the comments down below, some ideas that you perhaps have. So for our before school, we have a consistent routine. If you find that your child gets stressed in the morning because it might be library day or PE day or some other day where they have to bring extra items, pack your bags the night before. Giving your kid a 10-minute countdown, then a 5-minute countdown to leaving the house lets them be more in control of their activities. Reminding them that they might have activities after school. I usually do this the night before and say, remember, we're going to be doing X tomorrow after school. I try and remind them in the car on the way to school, and I walk my kids from the car into school, and I'll say it again. This helps immensely with your after school routine. I mean, obviously sometimes things come up and nothing can be done about that. But, you know, if you know in advance that something's going to be happening. We also have a little bag of fidget toys and stress balls and things like that in our car that stay in the car. So if the kids are a bit stressed out, they've got access to that there. Now, after school, I'm pretty sure that most parents at some point get what I call the Coke bottle effect, where your kid comes out of school and they just explode like a bottle of fizzy drink. Our neurodiverse kids are more prone to this. It takes them longer to sort of grow out of this, mainly because they take things to heart and they might have that. So they'll experience things more than their neurotypical peers. You know, their emotional regulation is lower, it's less. Their rejection sensitivity is probably more. So they might experience what another child can experience and brush off. They don't brush off and it sits with them. So as these build up during the day, by the time they are coming out to you, they've had enough. They can't regulate anymore and it all explodes. So after school, we came up with a plan to help. So I meet my kids with a small snack. That can be whatever suits you and your kids. We also decided that putting headphones on when I meet my daughter, my son's pretty good with this, and then she can listen to some calming instrumental music, which is her choice. You could give your kid whatever it is that they love to listen to, and giving them a choice in this is actually quite good for them. As I mentioned before, trying not to spring any surprises on your kids after school, having your activity bag with fidgets and things like that, listening to soothing music in the car, And I try not to ask them any questions when I pick them up, apart from, have you had a good day? Because I feel they get asked questions all day, the wee souls. You know, they're asked how to answer things. They're, you know, their friends are asking them things. They have to talk all the time when they've been, you know, called upon. So I just let them talk, let them get out what they need to get out. And once we're home and they've had a chance to get something proper to eat and decompress a little, then I tend to ask questions. So again, you add to this what suits you. I mentioned before that we have a calming menu. Now, this was something that the psychologist came up with, and I thought this was the best idea. Not just for kids, but for us as adults. What helps us de-stress? So when we spoke about this calming menu, again, she actually did a great analogy here. So she said, like, their emotions are like water coming through a tap, and the tap is always flowing to a certain extent. Now, sometimes they get stressed out, they get worked up, they get angry, they get frustrated, and that turns the tap on more. So they have more emotion coming out, which fills the sink up faster. And then you have things like stress balls, or calming music, or having a bath or a shower, or having a cuddle, or playing with bubbles. And this turns the tap the other way, and it slows the emotions down, so the sink doesn't fill as fast. And when it gets to the point with our kids where the sink overflows, that's when meltdowns happen. So we came up with a plan to have a calming menu for my daughter, and I've suggested this to friends, and they've taken it on board for their kids. And I think this is a fantastic thing to do, and it's something that you can have at home, and you can have a different one at home than you have at school, and as I said, at school as well. So you can have things like sensory calming, like stress balls or fidget spinners, which would work fine at school. At home, they could have a weighted blanket. They could have go for a bath or a shower. Belly breathing is a good way of regulating themselves. If you are outdoors doing bubbles, watching clouds, just having a calming walk, playing on a swing. Indoors could be colouring in or painting. Word searches are quite a good thing because they're quite a mindful thing, and you can get them with whatever it is that your kid really enjoys doing. Or physical activities can be good to get the energy out, and that could be something like skipping, going on a trampoline. Yoga is fantastic. Having a dance party with them. And all of these you can just put together onto a menu, an A4 menu for your kid, and keep it at home and have one at school. So that's really my tips at the moment. I will share more with you in another video. So I hope that this has actually been really useful for you. As I say, there's a link down below in the description box. This is totally free for you to download and print off and use as you wish. Don't pass it off as your own, please. Obviously, I've put a little bit of work into this. But yes, I would love to add anything to this. So please, comments down below are fantastic. And again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the like, because this really helps my videos be seen by other people. So I hope this has gone in some way to help you think of some different things that you can maybe try with your kids. And yeah, I hope you have a great day. Speak to you soon, friends. Bye-bye.